Your son's medical bills are not our problem. We raised you. We're done, Mom said when I asked for help. I said, fair enough, paid the $34,000 bill myself. 3 months later, she called. The roof needs $18,000 in repairs. Family helps family. I said medical bills are not family problems, remember? 52 missed calls. I was 37 the night I put my son's $34,187.46 hospital bill on my parents' kitchen table. It was 8:42 p.m. a Tuesday in March. Mud season out on the ranch near Canadian, Texas. My hands still smelled faintly like iodine and hay. My boy Jake was on the floor by the fridge, pushing his toy combine in slow circles. One sock on, one sock off, humming the Spider-Man theme under his breath. Mom wiped down an already clean counter. Dad scrolled his phone like the screen owed him money. The kitchen smelled like leftover pot roast and lemon cleaner. I don't like that folder, Mom said without looking at it. It's not supposed to be liked, I said. It's from Amarillo General. Dad snorted. Always is. Jake glanced up. Can I have ice cream now, Grandpa? In a minute, buddy, I said. Mom finally turned around, dish towel folded in half, then in half again. Is he okay now? He's sleeping at home, I said. The surgery went as well as it could. They got the blockage. He's tired. Jake pushed the combine smack into the cabinet. The nurses gave me a red popsicle. It was cherry, but it tasted like medicine. Mom gave him a tight little smile. Well, you're strong, just like your daddy. I swallowed, my mouth was dry, tongue like sandpaper. Hospital wanted me to meet with billing before they discharged him. I said, they, printed this? I slid the bill across the table. The white paper looked stupidly innocent under the yellow light. Dad didn't touch it. How bad? Total's there, I said. Bottom right. He leaned forward, squinting over his glasses. Mom leaned in too. Her lips moved silently as she read. $34,187.46, she said finally, like she was reading a weather report. Jake stopped the combine, listening. Little shoulders went still. Dad whistled low. Wow, it's after insurance, I added. That's my portion. You got insurance now, Mom said. You're the big ranch owner. Ranch owner doesn't mean millionaire, I said. You know what calves went for this year. Nobody answered. The fridge hummed like it was nervous. So, Mom said slowly, eyes still on the paper. What do you want from us, Will? I could feel my heartbeat in my fingertips. I need help, I said. I can cover a chunk, I've got savings, and I can sell the old baler. But they want a first payment in 30 days, or it goes to collections. I was hoping you could spot me 10, maybe 15. Dad set his phone down, finally giving me his full attention. 15,000, yeah. My voice sounded far away. I'd pay it back. We can sign whatever you want. I need to keep us afloat. I can't let this wreck the ranch and Jake. I can sell my blue tractor, Jake announced suddenly. The little one, not the real one. Mom smiled at him. You don't need to worry about grown-up things, sweetheart. He went quiet again, tucked his feet under him, like smaller might be safer. Dad leaned back, chair creaking. We already raised you, he said. You make your own bed now. David, Mom said lightly, but that lightness was fake, like a plastic plant. Don't be harsh. I'm being honest, he said. To me, you wanted that ranch. You signed for that note. You pick your priorities, son. This isn't a new truck payment, I said. This is his intestines twisting themselves into knots and almost killing him. Mom's jaw tightened. No one is saying it isn't serious. You kind of are, I said. She folded the dish towel again. Will, we helped you plenty. We let you park equipment on our land. We co-signed your first truck. We watched Jake when you were calving. But your son's medical bills are not our problem. My ears started ringing. There, he's your grandson. And you're his father, Dad shot back. We raised you. We're done. The words hung there, heavy and ugly. Jake's combine clicked against the tile once, then stopped. Grandma? He asked quietly. Am I a problem? Mom flinched like he'd slapped her. Of course not, baby. Grandma loves you. But my hospital was a problem, he said. You said. She looked at me then like it was my fault he could put words together. Jake, I said, keeping my voice steady, none of this is your fault. Not 1 cent. Dad pushed the bill back toward me with 2 fingers. You're a grown man, Will. You chose to have a kid. You chose that ranch. You figure it out. That's life. My hands went cold, like someone had poured ice water into my veins. My brain started counting. Truck payment, feed bill, power, propane, payroll for the one ranch hand I could barely afford, loan balance, savings $19,300, credit cards, available limit $7,500 if I was stupid. It didn't add up. Not clean, anyway. Family helps family, Mom added like she was doing me a favor. But medical bills? That's between you and God and Blue Cross. Jake's eyes flicked between our faces, his mouth tight. He pulled the combine into his lap and went very quiet, the way he had in the hospital when they wheeled him down the hall. Too calm, too careful. Inside, something in me cracked, slow and controlled. I didn't scream. I picked up the bill, drove home, and started figuring out how to pay $34,000 without them. I own 1,200 scrubby acres outside Canadian Texas. Cows, a few horses, some leased pasture. Nothing fancy, nothing Instagram-worthy. I'm not Yellowstone. I'm a single dad with a mortgage, a kid who likes dinosaur pajamas, and a barn roof that leaks when the wind comes out of the north. I used to think my parents were strict but fair. That was the story I told myself because it was cleaner than the real one. They work a small place 20 minutes from mine, same last name on 2 mailboxes, same church on Sundays, and a lifetime of "we sacrificed everything for you, Will" hanging over my head like a low branch. Growing up, the rules were simple. Don't make a scene, don't embarrass the family. Don't ask for what you can't pay back double. And above all, family helps family, as long as help flowed in the right direction. When I was 16, I won Grand Champion steer at the county fair. First time any of us had done it. There was this one perfect photo, me in a borrowed starched shirt, hand on that steer, blue ribbon pinned, both of us looking shocked. The buyer's check was for $3,200. To me, that was billionaire money, college money, future ranch money. Mom and Dad took me to Dairy Queen afterward, slid the check between them on the table. Now Dad said, "We'll put this in the family account. Help with expenses. Feed ain't free." I remember my throat closing. "I thought I'd get to keep some," I said, "for school." Mom smiled over her sundae. "Oh, honey, the experience is your reward. We're giving you a roof and food. Family helps family." I swallowed it, told myself it was temporary. It wasn't. At 22, I got a partial scholarship offer from Texas Tech for ag. It wasn't everything, but it was something. My plan was to work, live cheap, make it happen. Mom sat me down at the kitchen table with a printed spreadsheet of their bills. It looked official. It always does when someone wants to shut you up. "Going off to play cowboy at college sounds fun," she said. "But who's going to help your dad with the herd? You can learn plenty right here. No debt, no foolishness." Dad didn't even look up from the TV. "We need you here more than Tech does." I called the admissions office the next day and turned it down. Told myself I'd go later. I didn't. Then Jake was born. His mom, Amber, lasted about 2 years before she decided she couldn't handle the manure, the wind, and the isolation, and the way you can't get Thai food delivered to a gravel road. I don't blame her. She left me with our son and a text. "You're better at being rooted than me." Parents' reaction? "Shame," Dad said. "But you wanted that baby. You fix it." Mom's version of helping was telling everyone at church how selfless she was for letting us move back for a bit when Jake was 3 and the ranch was one bad drought away from foreclosure. Only fair, she'd say. We're all under one roof. We all contribute. Family helps family. My contribution was $600 a month into their house fund, plus all the fence repair and most of the cooking. They never showed me the account. When I asked once, Mom laughed. "You don't need to see every little thing. We raised you. We know how to manage it." There were 100 little moments like that. The Christmas mom told Jake to put back the $10 toy dinosaur I'd picked out because his cousin already had a better one, and we don't compete. The time Dad borrowed my truck for 3 months so he could haul feed cheaper, then got a dent in the bed and said, "That's work, son. Trucks get ugly. Be a man." Jake learned to watch the room like a barometer. If Grandpa's boots came off hard by the door, Jake stayed in his corner, toys quiet. If Grandma's dish towel folded in sharp, precise squares, he didn't ask for seconds, he learned to shrink himself before anyone told him to. I kept telling myself it was temporary, just until the calf prizes rebounded. Just until I refinanced. Just until. Then Jake's intestines tried to tie themselves into a knot and kill him. The night we drove to Amarillo, he was folded over in the passenger seat, sweating through his Spider-Man t-shirt, whispering, "My belly feels like barbed wire, Dad." I drove 92 miles an hour and prayed to a God I barely speak to. Surgery? 3 days in the pediatric ward. Tubes? Monitors, his small hand trying to crush my fingers every time a nurse came near. I didn't think about money until the discharge nurse closed the curtain and slid in the folder. "Here's your financial responsibility, Mr. Rowe," she said kindly, like handing me a menu. "We can talk payment plans. $34,187.46. I stared at that number until it blurred. That's when I drove to my parents' house with the bill. I still believed, somewhere deep, that this time would be different, that there had to be a bottom line where they picked their grandson over a principal. I thought that was the night everything broke. Turned out, it was just the first clean rip. I paid the first $15,000 by draining my savings. The hospital took a card over the phone. The woman on the line said, "Are you sure?" Like she was offering a second opinion. "Yeah," I said. "Run it." The remaining balance I split into payments. $800 a month. I sold the old baler, 2 heifers I wanted to keep, and the roping saddle my granddad had given me. I didn't tell Jake that part. When Mom said your son's medical bills are not our problem, she meant it. What I didn't expect was how fast they'd turn me paying it into a story about them. Week 1, I heard from my aunt in town. "Your mom says you tried to shake them down for hospital money," she said over Facebook Messenger. "You know they're on a fixed income, right?" I stared at the screen. Then I scrolled up to the photo I'd taken of the bill, the one that showed Jake's name, the procedure code, the total. Under it, the text thread, "ME, I'll pay it, but can you help with a chunk? Mom, your son's medical bills are not our problem. We raised you, we're done." I screenshotted that too, saved it in a folder on my laptop, /jacobmedical/billing/receipts. The file names started stacking up. Amarillo General _statement_March.pdf. Payment confirmation _15,000. PNG. Text.mom-dad-refuse-help. PNG. I wasn't trying to build a case then. I just needed proof for myself that I wasn't crazy. Wave 1 of the pressure was private. Mom called 3 nights in a row. "I'm worried about you," she said. "We're fine," I answered, even when my gut said otherwise. "You sounded short on Sunday. Your father thinks you're holding a grudge." "I'm busy keeping cows alive," I said. She sighed. "You don't know how hard this is for us, Will. We feel terrible about Jake, but we have our own burdens. You can't expect us to fix everything for you." "I asked for help," I said. "One time. For your only grandkid's surgery." "You asked for $15,000, she corrected. "That's not help. That's taking advantage. You always twist things to look like you're the victim. Family helps family, but it goes both ways. Remember who paid for your first truck?" I could have listed every fence I'd mended, every night I'd watched their cows, every dollar I'd shoveled into that mysterious house fund. Instead, I just said, "Yeah, I remember." Dad called once. "Man to man," he said. "Let it go. You're making your mother sick with this sulking." "She told me my kid was not her problem," I said. "You're the one repeating it," he shot back. "Maybe look at why it bothers you so much." I hung up before I said something I couldn't take back. Wave 2 hit harder. That's when they started putting hands on levers. First, Dad backed out of the grazing agreement we'd had for 3 years. 20 head on their back 40, cheap rent, good grass. He called it a business decision. "Costs have gone up," he said. "We can get better rates from Connor down the road. No hard feelings." That was $4,000 a year gone in one phone call. Then Mom texted, "MOM, Pastor says extra kids ministry volunteers are making it chaotic. Maybe it's best if Jake sits out for a bit until things calm down." I called the church office myself. The secretary sounded confused. "We'd never turn Jake away," she said. "We love having him." Another screenshot. Another file in the folder. They even tried to loop Amber in. She texted me out of nowhere. Amber, your mom called. She says you're unstable, drowning in debt, yelling all the time. Is Jake safe? I was in the feed store when that came through. My hands went cold all over again. I called her. You know me better than that. She hesitated. I know your parents like to spin things, but debt can make people snap, Will. Jake is safe, I said. Always. Later that week, Mom left a voicemail. You know, if you were more reasonable, we could talk about helping, she said. But you're choosing this path. Don't punish us for your choices. I sat at the kitchen table, laptop open to my bank account. $421.19 available. Jake asleep in the next room with his stuffed longhorn tucked under his arm. And I felt something shift. I stopped arguing. I started documenting. I pulled up my email and requested full billing records from the hospital. I downloaded credit card statements, pulled transaction histories on the house fund account I'd been depositing into for 3 years. My name was on the deposits. Not a single withdrawal showed my name. Just ACH transfer Rao sir. I took photos of the old roping saddle before I sold it. The buyer counted out $600 in 20s on my tailgate while Jake watched from the porch, face pressed to the screen door. Why are you selling that one? He asked later. Grandpa said it's special. Because you, I said, tucking him in, are more special, he frowned. That's not how Grandpa talks. I know, I said. We're going to talk different. The more I collected, the clearer the pattern looked. My parents were only family helps family when I was the one doing the helping. When the flow reversed, suddenly it was boundaries and lectures and spreadsheets about their fixed income. I told myself I was just getting my paperwork in order, just being a responsible adult. Truth was, I was building a wall. I just didn't know yet what I was going to do with it. 3 months after Jake's surgery, right as the wheat finally started looking like something other than dead hope, my phone lit up while I was in the barn. Mom? Incoming. I almost let it go to voicemail. Almost. Jake was sitting on an upside-down bucket drawing tractors in the dust, with a stick. My one ranch hand, Luis, was oiling a chain. Late May air, warm and full of flies. I thumbed answer, put it on speaker, set the phone on a bail so my hands could keep working. Hey, I said. Hi, honey, Mom chirped, extra bright. How are my boys? We're fine, I said. Jake glanced up at the sound of her voice, then went back to his dustard. How's Jake's tummy? She asked. He's good. Running around too much. Doctor says scars look great. See? She said. God is good. Yeah. There was a pause. I could hear the TV murmuring in the background. Dad coughing. So, she said, we had the inspector out. The roof needs repairs. I wiped my hands on my jeans. What roof? Ours, she said like I was slow. The house, he says the whole thing needs reshingling. There's damage from that hail last year. Insurance only covers part. The estimate is $18,000. Luis raised his eyebrows at me, like he could hear the dollar signs through the tin wall. Okay, I said carefully. Your father and I talked, Mom continued, and we agreed it makes sense for you to help. This house is your inheritance, after all. We're just maintaining your future. Family helps family. There it was, the old line, pulled out like a family heirloom. How much are you thinking? I asked, even though I already knew the answer. All of it if you can, she said without missing a beat. Or at least most. The roofer wants half up front. $18,000 is nothing compared to what we've spent on you over the years. I let that sit for a second. In the dust at my feet, Jake was drawing little stick cows under a square sun. When's the work scheduled? I asked. As soon as we have your part, she said. Can you transfer it this week? I'll text you the routing number. My hands were steady. That surprised me. My voice, too. Mom, I said, I just paid a $34,000 hospital bill for your grandson, mostly in cash. Sold gear. Sold cattle. I asked you for help. You told me. And I quote, your son's medical bills are not our problem. We raised you. We're done. She went quiet for half a beat. We said it in the moment, she said finally, tone sharpening. You were pressuring us. We have our own issues, but this is different. This is the family home. We all benefit. Luis met my eyes, shook his head once, slow. Jake drew a little house next to his cows. No roof yet, just walls and a door. Medical bills are not family problems, I said. Calm. Remember? Don't twist my words, she snapped. I'm asking you to step up like a good son. Your father is almost 70. Do you expect him to climb up there with a tarp? I expect you, I said, to care more about a kid who almost died than some asphalt shingles. You're being cruel, she said. I knew this surgery thing would change you. You're bitter. 18,000 is nothing. You cleared how much selling those calves last month? Gross. I cleared 30, I said. Net after feed, vet, fuel, and debt service? 9. Before my mortgage and Jake's prescriptions. You know that. You just like pretending you don't. Don't take that tone with me. Don't call my kid a line item, I said. She huffed. Fine. If you want to keep score, remember this conversation when we're gone and you're crying because you didn't have more time with us. That's not what I'll be crying about, I said. Your sister said you'd do this. She muttered. She said you were making a big deal out of nothing. We'll just call Connor. At least he knows how to honor his elders. There it was again. The threat. Replacement son. Replacement heir. Something in me solidified. Mom, I said. Listen carefully, okay? What? She snapped. I'm not paying for your roof, I said. I paid for my son's life. I'm still paying for it. You made it very clear that wasn't your problem, so my money isn't your solution. Silence. Then, ice cold, are you done? Not quite, I said. After we hang up, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to take you and Dad off my emergency contact list at the hospital. I'm going to email Jake's school and daycare and let them know you do not have pickup rights. I'm going to stop the automatic transfer into your house fund account. And I'm going to text you this. Do not contact me again about money. Any further harassment, financial or otherwise, will go through a lawyer. That's the only conversation we have about this. You wouldn't dare, she breathed. Watch me, I said. She tried for the last card. We raised you, Will. We did our best. You'll understand when Jake treats you like this. I'll understand. I said that I taught him better. I hung up. My hand shook for exactly 3 seconds. Then it stopped. Luis let out a low whistle. You good, Jefe? I nodded. Yeah. Actually, yeah. I walked back to the house, sat at my battered kitchen table, and did exactly what I'd told her. Email to Amarillo General. Please remove Mary and David Rowe from my emergency contact and billing authorization. Replace with Luis Ortega, friend, and Rachel Dunn, attorney. Email to Jake's school effective immediately. My parents are not authorized to pick up my son. Attached. Copy of custody paperwork. Online banking. Cancel transfer. Rowe E-Parents House Fund. Then I drafted the text in notes, copied it into our family group chat. Mom, Dad, my younger sister, Megan. Me. On 3/12, you told me your son's medical bills are not our problem. We raised you. We're done. Today you asked me for $18,000 for your roof and said family helps family. Medical bills are not family problems, remember? Do not contact me again about money. Any future contact about me or Jake will go through my attorney. I hit send. Within 15 seconds. Mom, are you serious right now? Dad, grow up. Megan, wow. Drama much. My phone started buzzing. Incoming call. Mom, decline. Again. Mom, decline. Dad. Megan. I put the phone on Do Not Disturb face down on the table. Later, when I picked it up to set the alarm, the screen showed 52 missed calls. It looked like a case file. The next morning, they were at the end of my driveway when I came back from feeding. Truck parked sideways, blocking the gate, Dad out in the road, Mom in the cab, arms crossed. I didn't get out. I stopped 10 yards back and called the sheriff. Morning, Will, Deputy Sanders said when he rolled up 20 minutes later. Morning, I answered. He walked up to my parents' truck first, talked to them low. Then he came over to my window. They say you're refusing to help them, he said. They say they just want to talk. I handed him my phone, already open to the screenshot of Mom's line. He read it silently. Lips moved. Your son's medical bills are not our problem. We raised you. We're done, he read finally, then let out a breath. They really texted that? Yes, sir, I said. And now they're blocking my driveway demanding money. I'd like them formally trespassed. I don't want Jake around this. He looked from me to them, then back. I'll take care of it, he said. He walked back, told them something I couldn't hear. Mom's face went red, then white. Dad gestured at me like he was directing traffic. Angry traffic. Sanders came back, handed me a card. Case number's on the back, he said. If they come back like this again, you call. We're done doing the family dance. Appreciate it, I said. That night, I met with Rachel, a lawyer a friend had recommended. She read through my folder quietly. Printouts of text messages, bank statements, Jake's hospital bills, the house fund deposits. At the end, she tapped one finger on the stack. You've got more documentation than half my divorced clients, she said. What do you want, Will? I want them out of my kid's life unless they can treat him like a person, not a bill, I said. I want guardianship paperwork that keeps Jake away from them if I get trampled by an angry bull. And I want something on file so if they escalate, it's not my word against theirs. She nodded. We'll file notices with the school and hospital. We'll put a formal no-contact request on letterhead. And we'll draft a will that reflects what you just said. Good, I said. I didn't scream. I signed the papers, changed the locks, and put the case number on my fridge. Summer settled over the ranch. Jake healed. The red scars on his belly faded to pale lines. Will these always be there? He asked in the bath. Yeah, I said. Badges you earned. Our days got simple. Breakfast, school, cows, sleep. Fridays we ate with Luis and Maria. One night she handed Jake a small wrapped box. Just because family helps family. This kind does, I said. Inside was a used Nintendo. He hugged it like treasure. My parents kept pushing. They mailed a card. Family shouldn't let money come between us. Come Sunday and talk this out. I sent their gift card back with one line. Boundaries aren't about money. They're about safety. We're not available for a relationship that treats my son like a burden. Later, they showed up at Jake's game. Don't turn him against us, Mom said. I'm not, I told her. I'm keeping him away from people who treated him like a bill. Jake slipped his hand into mine. We have cows to feed, Grandma. Driving home, he asked, Are we in trouble? No, I said. We're safe.